I still remember the night before the school science fair like it happened yesterday. Mike and Ethan had spent 3 weeks building his project, a model volcano, complete with painted mountains, tin trees, and a homemade eruption system, powered by baking soda and vinegar. Every afternoon after school, he worked on it carefully, measuring, cutting, and gluing pieces together while dreaming about winning our ribbon. He was proud of it, and honestly, I was proud of him too. His younger sister, Lily, was 7 years old, energetic, curious, and always wanted to be involved in whatever her big brother was doing. Ethan loved her, but he was protective of his project because he knew how Weasley accidents could happen. So every time she asked to help, he would politely tell her that he needed to finish it on his own. The night before the fair, Ethan placed the completed volcano on the dining room table and went upstairs to take a shower. I was in the kitchen cleaning dishes while Lily sat quietly nearby, colouring in a notebook. At least I thought she was colouring. A few minutes later, I heard a crash. The sound was loud enough to make my stomach drop. I rushed into the dining room and froze. The volcano was destroyed. Pieces of cardboard were scattered across the floor. Tinny trees were crushed. The painted mountain had collapsed into several torn sections. The eruption tube had snapped completely in half. Standing in the middle of the mess was Lily. Her face had gone pale. She looked at me and immediately burst into tears. Before I could say anything, Ethan came running downstairs. He stopped at the doorway and stared at the remains of the project had worked so hard to build. The room was silent. Then I saw tears forming in his ear. Yes, he walked over slowly, picked up one of the broken pieces and asked in a shaky voice, "What happened?" Lily could not even answer. She was crying too hard. Finally, she managed to whisper, "I am sorry." Ethan looked devastated. Heron upstairs and slammed his bedroom door. I expected Lily to be scared of getting punished. Instead, she looked completely shattered. I knelt beside her and gently asked what happened. Between sobs, she explained that she had wanted to surprise Ethan. She thought this volcano needed a few extra decorations, so she grabbed some craft supplies and tried. Towed a small dinosaur scene Earth base while moving the project. She accidentally dropped it. The more she tried to fix it, the worse it became. By the time it found her, the entire thing was ruined. She was not crying because she was afraid of punishment. She was crying because she knew she had hurt someone she loved. That realization changed everything. I could see the guilt written all over her face, the kind of guilt that feels bigger than any consequence an adult could give. She kept repeating the same words. I did not meant over and over again, so instead of yelling, I led her into my arms and I hugged her. At first it thought it would only last a minute or two, but every time I loosened my grip she would start crying again, so I kept holding her. 5 minutes became 10, became 20, became an hour. For nearly 60 minutes she sat in my lap crying while I reminded her that making a mistake did not make her a bad person. That accident happened, that hurting someone accidentally feels awful because it means you care, and that the next step was no fidding from what happened but trying to make it right. Eventually her crying slowed. Then's asked a question I will never forget. Do you think Ethan will ever forgive me? My heart broke, because in that moment she was not worried about the science fair. She was worried about losing her brother. It told her the truth. As Ed, forgiveness might take time, but Ethan loved her more than any science project. Then I asked if she wanted to help rebuild it. She nodded immediately. So close to midnight, we knocked on Ethan's bedroom door. He opened it with a disappointed expression. Lily started crying again. These cunchies or whim. She apologized before either of us could speak, not once but several times. She told him exactly what happened and admitted everything. Then she offered to stay awake all night, helping him rebuild the volcano. For a moment, Ethan did not say anything. Then he sighed and said, "Okay." The three of us spent the next several hours at the dining room table, cutting cardboard, painting pieces, regluing sections, finding creative ways to replace the parts that could not be saved. It was not perfect. In fact, their built volcano looked a little